Oh, what is going on, Warning Track North gang? It's your boy, it's the Stuntman, back with another episode. A celebratory episode. Canada, Canada, baby. Winners against Cuba. Oh, let's break it down. Let's talk about it. But not just with me, with your boy and the Lazarbeam. Chris, what's going on, buddy?
You made me sound like I was two different people there. Your boy and the
Your
laser
boy,
beam?
like the listener's boy, me, and then the
Oh,
laser
you're talking about
beam. Yeah,
yourself.
it's not just
Okay.
me, your boy, and oh, I guess yeah.
So so I'm not their boy, is
No,
what you're
I'm
saying.
no,
It's
I
just
no,
that
I would
you're
no,
spending too much
I'm the
time on this.
boy. I'm the boy. But what's going on, dude? Canada, we're amped up. That's why we're
Yeah,
amped
man.
up. Let's go.
It's very cool. It's very cool. I remember back in 2009, it was the first time I ever watched the World Baseball Classic. I was like 12 years old, and
Wow.
I went
Thanks.
to I had yeah, I know, makes us both feel old. But yeah, I was 12 years old, and we went to my dad and I went to um, all the games at the Rogers Center. We had a strip of tickets, and we went to that Canada USA game, and like the energy was electric. Obviously, Canada lost that game, but that was my introduction into the WBC. And 17 years later, and here we are. Canada's going to play in a knockout game. So pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool. We've come a long way. Finally, get the monkey off our back too, man. Only team in the tournament since the beginning that hasn't made it through. We no longer have to talk about that. Um, yeah, no, overall, just yeah, it's
That's
exciting.
awesome.
It's
It's
exciting.
awesome. I can't get over one thing you just said though, and it actually has nothing to do with this game. How old did you say you were in 2009?
I was 12. I would have been 11, I guess, at the time of the tournament because it was in March. My birthday's in
Wow,
June,
I was
so
driving a car
yeah, I would
by
have been
then. I
11.
was already driving a car by then. That's crazy. I couldn't get over what you had just told me, and I was mortified. Anyway,
I,
dude, I, everything top to bottom today, just what that they played in the afternoon. Incredible weather, no delays, no issues with the weather. Then we find out they have a new lineup card. I'm sorry, have they been listening to Warning Track North? About time. And dude, I'm telling you, this lineup card today, this lineup is exactly what Canada should have been doing, maybe from game one. Lopez, Naylor, O'Neill, Toro, Casey. One, two, three, four, five. Unreal. Unreal today. I'm telling you right now, probably the best 1 to 5 that Vinny could have put together today. Uh, yeah, I mean, what did they go? A combined eight hits from those five today, and
8
I'm
hits.
talking
All of them had at
and
least
I'm
one.
talking big hits. Not just a single in the middle of the game that meant nothing. Every single hit meant something today, and it was the tale of two completely different ball games for me. You had a team that was riding a high. They came in after yesterday's win against a home team. They were feeling good. You could tell that that win actually was that catalyst to today's overall offensive production, good vibes all the way around. I'm not saying it was Canada's perfect game by any means, because it was not, but it was far their best game of the tournament so far. And dude, we're riding high into a quarterfinal for the first time in WBC history. And not just that, we have a chance to finish higher than our friends to the south, the USA, who may not even make it to the QFs by the end of today. So it doesn't matter. I'm feeling amped up right now. I had,
That was good. That was a good little rant you went
sorry,
on there.
yeah,
I was just gonna let you cook.
cook, baby. I'm
It was
cooking.
good.
I'm cooking today. And so was
It
Canada.
was
Canada
good.
cooked.
No,
Canada cooked today. They had 11 hits, by the way. 11 hits. I didn't even tell anybody the score. Canada won 7-2. Canada beat Cuba 7-2. 11 hits, 2 errors. Cuba looked like just poo poo half the time. Defensively, wow. Uh, I don't know what happened there. Just deflated. They just looked. Some players looked mad at some points. Some players were mad because they weren't in the lineup today, and maybe we can get to that at some point because you could tell like vibes were just like not great for Cuba. But man, you put up 11 hits, you score 7 runs, 7-11. I'll check out anytime, and I'm having a good time. So let's go, let's go, Canada.
You were cooking, and I don't know what any of that stuff at the end meant, but we'll just move past it. Well, you were trying to do a 7-Eleven joke, I could tell, and like you didn't really know where you were going with it, but you were like halfway through it. You're like, I gotta finish the joke, but you didn't really know where you were going. Anyway, it was a valiant effort. Um, back to baseball. One of the first notes that I made in this game was the difference between the body language and the intensity. I thought not intensity because I thought Cuba was intense, but the level of focus I thought early on was very apparent between the two teams where Cuba looked rattled right off the bat. There were some pitch clock shenanigans that happened. They got called for 2 pitch clock violations on back-to-back pitches, 2 batters into the game. You had the obstruction call on Moncada that kept that first inning alive. Obviously, it didn't result in any runs, but that obstruction call, you could just tell, like you could see it every time they panned over to the dugout. The Cubans were yelling and screaming and doing stuff every time, and like that is kind of how they play the game. But it's also it can be your biggest strength and it can be your biggest downfall because playing with emotion, a lot of times things snowball for better and for worse. And when things are going bad, a lot of times that emotion can kind of snowball, and instead of being able to retaliate and come back from it, you just kind of feed into it, and it creates frustration, it creates anger, and you get tight and you try to do too much. And it felt like there was a lot of that from Cuba today. Whereas with Canada, I said it from the very beginning, I thought they looked very engaged. I thought they were very engaged early on. You saw Josh Naylor, the way they were running the bases, taking their leadoffs, even bouncing around on the bases, like all these little things, taking close pitches, having a very clear approach. They just looked very, very focused and very, very engaged. Like they knew they had a job to do today. Whereas Cuba played this game like it was the biggest game of their lives and not in like a positive way either. Right? They didn't use they didn't turn the emotion into positive energy. It was actually a detriment to them. And you saw it snowball, right? Like the defense, it wasn't great from the beginning, but the second it started to get really bad, there were drop pop-ups all over the place. I saw there was a trouble spot pop-up behind the shortstop where it fell behind the shortstop in front of the left fielder, and the shortstop like turns around, like puts his hands on his hips and like looks at the left fielder, and it's like, I don't know, like the body language just wasn't good. The reactions for them wasn't good. They just unraveled completely. And give Canada credit, they took advantage at every turn. Because that's the other reason it was frustrating for Cuba, right? Is they weren't getting away with any of it. Every mistake Cuba made, Canada made them pay. And that's what good teams do, and that's how you advance in a tournament like this. So, yeah, just that was kind of my early takeaway from this game. In terms of, you mentioned yesterday being a catalyst for Canada, I don't know if it was necessarily like I don't know if it necessarily had an effect on the outcome of this game per se, the fact that they won the game, but I do think that there was a turning point that got them back on track yesterday's game because they were able to play a clean game. They beat a really good Puerto Rico team in a game that didn't, in theory, Canada could have easily looked past it, right? Because this Cuba game was the one that meant everything. And they didn't look past it. They grinded out those at bats. Again, we talked about the 2 bases loaded walks in the middle of that game where grinding, grinding out at bats, finding a way to put a professional at bats, and it kind of got them back on track. And even though they didn't really score a ton last night, they were able to parlay that into today. And it's one of those things where the process was really good. And when the process is really good, eventually you start to see those results. It can get really frustrating in a short tournament when you don't see the results, but it paid off for them today. The lineup changes, like you mentioned, Ernie, what must have been listening, because We basically put up that exact lineup, 1 through 5. I think we said Denzel Clark maybe leading off instead of Otto Lopez, but we kind of had one of those two guys. So yeah, like again, it's kudo the way we criticized Ernie Witt for the bad lineup previously. Got to give him credit for putting together the right lineup today, and it worked out. Every guy in that top 5 had a base hit. Toro, absolutely unbelievable again. He was the MVP for Canada in this preliminary round. Casey was awesome again. Um, Josh Naylor had some good at bats. Tyler O'Neill again had some good at bats. Uh, Even Edward Julian, you put him at the bottom of the lineup, and all of a sudden he doesn't look so bad, right? Like when he grounds into a double play or strikes out, it doesn't frustrate you because he's hitting ninth. When he's hitting first, changes things, right? So the fact that everybody's slotted in, like this is going to be the lineup you see in the quarterfinal, regardless of who they play. They're going to run out this exact lineup, and gives them the best chance. I'm glad they found it.
I was going to ask you if you think that this was probably their best decision to run this lineup going forward, and it's a no-brainer. Like you said, easily
Yeah, the only change you might see is if they face a righty. I don't think you're going to see Matt Davidson in there again. I think you're going to see probably Liam Hicks going to play first base, um, or Jared Young or one of these guys. That would be really the only change. But um, for the most part, yeah, like when you put up 8 runs and or 7 runs, sorry, and the offense looks the way it did, and the top of the order is producing the way it did, there's no reason to change it, right? Like why would you? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you change something that's working?
I'd like to see the strikeouts be cut back just a little bit. They did strike out 10 times today. I mean, Cuba struck out 13 times, so credit Canada's pitching. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'd like to see that number come down a little bit. But I mean, if Denzel Clark doesn't strike out 3 times, and if Edouard, myself, Julian doesn't have a K again today, and Owen Casey had two strikeouts, but also had 2 RBIs and a hit. So I can't complain because he's clutch. He's
Yeah.
clutch. He's clutch Canada, and he actually made history today. If in case you missed that, not sure if you did. Uh, Owen Casey is now the RBI leader for Canada at a WBC tournament with 9 RBIs. He passed Abraham Toro. So I feel like they're just going to battle back and forth maybe this whole tournament, which would be sweet. I would love to see like a little, inner competition amongst two teammates who are just looking to grind out offensive, productive at bats for the rest of the tournament. There's a good,
Well, and here's the
yeah,
thing. Here's the thing. If they're changing, like if they're switching spots there, that means they're probably playing a few more games, right? So,
100%.
which means that Canada keeps winning. So that would be great. Yeah, I would love to see Casey lose that spot at the top by the end of the quarterfinal. That means Toro hit 3 RBIs. Like that
Exactly.
would be a great problem to have.
Exactly. Or I'd love to see him extend that lead because he also
That's true.
hit, 3, 4, 5 RBIs. Let's hit a slam in the next game. Who's to say that we can't? And by we, I mean they, because I don't swing the bat or throw the ball for them. You know who does throw the ball for Canada? Absolute clutch monsters today. Monsters. Cal Quantrill, monster. Adam Mako, monster. James Paxton, redemption monster today. Sucks he couldn't get the last out to end the game. Kind of hilarious that he comes out at 49 pitches and has to give the ball up to Sarantola. However, Sarantola, let's go. He gets the job done on a pop up, and the game's over. But
One pitch.
pitching master classes today. Do I love the situations that they got themselves in sometimes? No. But you limited Cuba to 5 hits over the course of 9 innings, 13 Ks overall, 4 walks, and only one earned run from your bullpen. Masterclass. Masterclass. 90 strikes on 143 pitches as well, by the way. Could see that efficiency go up a bit. I'd like to see that. But I'll take what we saw again and again and again, as long as we can get that offense to keep producing too. Um, I'm assuming you agree. I mean, you even let me know right away. You were like, Cal Quantrill, he fucks.
Quantrill was awesome. It was kind of vintage from him. Uh, People act like Cal Quantrill is this guy who like has never been good. And Cal had I saw a stat and I should have screenshotted it, but it was Cal Quantrill's numbers between I believe it was 2021 and 2024, 2023, something like that. And he was genuinely one of the best pitchers in baseball. Like he had like a 7 WAR during that time. He had like a 3 RA, like tons of innings, tons of quality starts. Like he was excellent. He was one of the top 2 starters on a Cleveland Guardians team that was a playoff team that went 5 games with the Yankees in the DS. I believe it was 2022 that happened. So it's not like this guy doesn't know how to pitch. Like he can pitch. It's just it's been a while since we've seen him be that good, and to see him do it today was awesome, especially when like for him again, it's a bit of a redemption story. When last tournament in the WBC, he went 2/3 of an inning against Great Britain, didn't even get out of the first. Right, so I'm sure it was big for him. Going 5 innings with a 65 pitch count is something that only him and one other guy did in Pool A. Um, yeah, he was great and he was awesome. He was pitching with an attitude. He was pitching with some fire, and like that's the Cal that I remember watching when he was a Terrier, when he was a member at Stanford, when he was a Cleveland Guardian. That's what I remember from him was he gets a big strikeout and he's screaming off the mound. It was very vintage for me. So uh, cool moment personally. The fact that it's like I saw this guy pitch. Like I pitched in the same game as him. I was on the same team as him for like a month, um, a bunch of years ago, right? And that was in high school. That was in 2020 or sorry 2013 that I played with him 13 years ago, right? So to see him do that today was really really cool. James Paxton, what else can you say, man? Like this guy was nails again, and he might be Canada's best reliever. I there is no guy coming out of that bullpen that I trust more than him right now. He's firing 97 coming out of the pen. Like he can help a major league ball club right now. Like if you can't convince me that that guy can't pitch in a bullpen for a major league team as a lefty. Um, I don't know if he wants to, right? I think
Cardinals,
ultimately it was his decision.
Cardinals, what are you doing? I mean, why not?
Yeah,
Now, this would be the year, right? Like, this would be the year to hop on a team like that and ride the wagon for a bit. Who cares? We got nothing but money to spend.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, WBC could fuel a lot of fun stuff after, you know.
yeah.
No, you said what more you
Again, I don't know if he wants
well,
to,
no,
right?
I
Like
know.
that's
But
the
you
big
you
thing. I
had
don't know if he wants to.
you said, what more can I say about Big Maple? Well, you could talk about Big K's. Dude struck out the side in the bottom of the 7th and finished with 6 strikeouts in total. Animal.
How many innings did he throw? Two
Dog.
and 2/3.
2 2/3.
So 8 outs, 6 punchies. That's pretty good.
That's banging.
That'll play.
And he didn't have
That'll
to throw the
absolutely play.
ball.
Yeah,
Even better.
yeah. He's yeah. Well, didn't have to cut off a ball at the plate or back up a bag, which was nice. But yeah, he was awesome. Obviously a little weird to see him getting and this is the thing, right? Is like I'm sitting there and I'm watching Ernie Witt go out and I'm like, wait, what the hell? I thought the semifinals was on like Tuesday. Like I thought it was like far enough away there that he could throw the final pitch. So it turns out that Canada plays on Saturday or Friday, I guess, uh, if the U.S. finishes second. So yeah, they had to take him out in that spot because again, he might be your best pitcher. And the beauty of having a guy like James Paxton who doesn't have a future in Major League Baseball because he has chosen not to have a future in Major League Baseball is he doesn't care if his arm is sore. He doesn't care if he can't throw a baseball in April. It doesn't matter to him. He's not preparing to pitch a 162 game season. You can max out James Paxton, and I think that makes him super valuable. I could see a situation where in the quarterfinal, this guy just goes out there and throws like 70 pitches because the pitch counts are going to go up. So I could see that happening. I could also see them doing the same thing where they just keep him to 49 and then just take him out. So, because that's the thing, you don't generally see guys throw 49 pitches, especially starters who are up there in age, throw 49 pitches on a Sunday and then come back on Wednesday and throw another 49 pitches. It doesn't happen very often. So, and his stuff looked great. He was throwing 97. Like I said, he didn't look like he slowed down at all. We'll fact check this in a second, but it just popped into my head. I'm pretty sure that Canada didn't give up a home run this entire pool play. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'll go back and check, but I'm pretty sure they didn't allow a home run the entire tournament so far. Which means for sure they're going to give up a home run in the first inning in the quarters. But I specify saying that in pool play they hadn't given up a home run. So because they didn't give one up today, they didn't give one up against Puerto Rico. They didn't give one up against Panama.
No.
And yeah, they didn't give one up against Colombia. So yeah, they didn't give up a home run this entire tournament. I'm
Pretty cool.
also
Pretty good. I mean, I
yeah,
would say that that's the definition of all you can ask for from your bullpen and your starters.
can't ask for much more,
No.
man. You really
Nope.
can't. It was a spectacular pitching performance the entire, and for a team that was worried about their pitching, um, spectacular pitching performance from that standpoint. Also, they allowed 5 extra base hits in 4 games. They gave up 2 doubles to Colombia, 1 double to Panama, 1 double to Puerto Rico, 1 double to Cuba. That's how you win games. You limit extra base hits and you play relatively clean defense. And here's the thing: Canada had 2 more errors today. It wasn't their cleanest game, like you mentioned. And when you don't give up extra base hits, you can survive that because there's not runners in scoring position. Sometimes you make those errors, and if you give up a single, it is what it is, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, what kills you is the doubles and the homers. And Canada was able to limit both of those. And for a pitching staff, again, that doesn't have the most talent in the world, they're relying on a bunch of guys who were either guys who are past their prime or guys who don't pitch in Major League Baseball, uh, or guys who are kind of up and coming and trying to make their name. And all of them showed up and did their job, man. Like, there's not one pitcher that has pitched for Canada that has pitched super poorly. Although Indigo Diaz made me want to indigo out and find the nearest cliff to jump off of during his outing. So that was not ideal. But outside of that, it was just unbelievable pitching performance from Canada.
Great on one side of the ball, and like we've said, not so great on the other. I have not seen a team drop so many balls in the outfield right in front of their face than I did today from Cuba. That was amazing. Being Canadian, they're going to blame the wind. I'm going to blame everything else. Just them being, ha ha, hee hee, not in it anymore. We're better than you. I'll rub it in. I don't care. That was whack. But to see those defensive miscues, I mean, I'll take it. I love it. Cape was crape was something I wrote in my notes. I just wanted to get that off my chest. That guy could probably beat me up in a back alley somewhere, so please don't do that if you hear me. Um,
My bad. I muted
that's
my mic. I
crazy.
was gonna say, yeah, no, my bad. No, I was saying that I don't think he's listening. And even if he is listening, I don't think he really will understand what we're
Nah,
saying
it's
either.
okay.
But
Either way.
I'm sure he understands cape is crape, which, yeah, I wrote something similar. I think mine was LMAO, cape sucks. But, uh,
I mean, it was for
um,
me. For me, at the end of the day, I'm so proud of Canada. I'm so proud of those players. I'm hyped for. I mean, if it goes down Friday, I am willing to grind out poor internet issues for that again. There's a good chance that that happens. I'll figure that out. Apologies to anybody who had to watch that horrendous version of that podcast episode where I looked like a box half of the time. Um,
That's okay.
that's what
That's
happens when you
okay.
have
I
bad internet in northern Michigan. There's a good chance it happens
I
Friday,
got
and then
something
you
for you.
got something Saturday. So we're gonna figure out how the next game goes. But before we get to tease that one a little bit, because I know you also are on a time crunch today. Did you have anything you want to get to? You had some things that you maybe
Well,
some.
this actually just came. This actually just came in. I got a tweet notification from Shai Davidi. This is kind of an electric comment. Cal Quantrill, after the game, said, quote, "We're not here for a participation ribbon." Hard not to get excited about that, man. Like, that's the thing is, like, they've qualified and they're happy to qualify, but you even saw it in the reaction post game. They're not here to qualify for the quarterfinal. They're here to win baseball games. They're here to see how far they can go in this damn thing. And if they match up with Mexico, they've beaten Mexico in this tournament a couple times before. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It would reignite. I really hope they play Mexico because anyone who knows the WBC will remember the absolute massive brawl between Canada and Mexico in 2013 in Arizona. One of the most famous baseball clips, one of the most famous moments in Canadian baseball history. Absolutely electric. I don't think we're going to see another one of those in this game because the stakes are much higher, but a bit of a rivalry, man. We could be seeing a little bit of a Canada Mexico
It's
rivalry.
true.
So
Canada
that'd
had
be a fun
yeah,
one.
Canada had a 9-3 lead at that point before all hell broke loose and a bench clearing brawl broke out, and it was the most electric thing ever. Um, until
It was.
today,
It
until
was the
today,
only.
then the most electric thing ever was advancing to the quarterfinals.
I don't know, man. I think that fight's still a little more electric. Like if we're going on the electricity scale, hard for me not to put that one up there above it.
Okay,
It was such a good. It was so good. Like it was so good. I still remember Sergio Romo and his devil eyes on that broadcast, and Tyler Gillies just beating the shit out of one of the Mexican players. Like it was just electric, man. It was so much
Tyler
fun.
Gillies, another guy who could beat a lot of people up in a back alley.
Oh yeah,
Wow, that's
big
yeah, he's
fella.
a big fella. Um,
Yeah. In terms of other things, sorry.
yeah,
In
in
terms of
terms
other
of other
things, I
things,
want to touch on.
you had mentioned, we had some pitch clock shenanigans at the start of the game. It was a bit of an ump show. Yeah, you had some thoughts. I went on a bit of a rant earlier. Would you like to Redbird rant?
I don't think I'm necessarily going to rant. What I will say is, yeah, it was a little bit of an ump show. Like when Trip Gibson called the pitch clock violation on Edward Julian because of whatever, and Edward Julian was like, "What the heck?" And then Ernie Witt, who like Ernie Witt's like the nicest man ever. This really, by the way, this bothered me, and it's totally not that relevant. But the Cuban pitcher and the Cuban manager comes out to argue every time anything happens. And the one time Ernie Witt steps on the field to get an explanation, the ump goes, "No, no, 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 don't come out here. No, 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 don't talk to me." What are you talking about, dude? Like,
That's
why is Cuba allowed to go do whatever the
It's
hell they want? You
exactly
know, like,
no, no, no.
that bothered me. I didn't like
It
it.
would have been the same thing as yesterday. It's because these umpires have been hanging out in the opposing team's dugouts, fist pumping, chest pumping, drinking El Presidente, whatever these guys are doing down there, they're doing it too. And they have been against Canada in that sense. I'm telling you right now, tinfoil hat that shit
Oh,
immediately.
you're going full conspiracy
They're
corner
beat bopping each
on this
other. They're
one.
doing the whole like we're in this together. Like what are we doing here? Grow up. Anyway,
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, so that was that. Other than that, other notes from this game: Owen Casey, awesome. Again, can't say much more about him. Abraham Toro, 3 for 5 with a home run. That ball was hit to Saturn. So yeah, it was
that was crushed.
again just good all around. Yeah, just good all around. Like there's really nothing to to complain about in this game. The only note I took was that they were 0 for 5 in runners in scoring position in the sixth inning. But I just looked at the numbers. They're 3 for 12 to end the game, which means they went 3 for 7 after that, which is pretty good. So um, nice for them to right the ship. And yeah, I thought Canada just did a really good job of keeping the momentum, of never allowing Cuba off the mat. Cuba had a couple of moments. One thing that I was told at a young age, and that I heard, when I say young age, I mean I was like 15. But when I was 15, one of my coaches said, like, throughout a baseball game, throughout any sporting event, it doesn't matter what the score is. It could be 8-0, it could be 10-0. Similar to what I said earlier, where the game kind of declares itself. In every game, there will be a moment where the team that is trailing has a real chance to get back in the game. And if they can take advantage of that moment, it doesn't matter what the score was previously, they're going to be alive. You saw it yesterday with Italy and USA. It was 8-0. USA gets a couple guys on, hits a 3-run, I think it was Roman Anthony, hits a 3-run bomb, gets them right back in the game, right? And you look at it, it's 8-3, whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, they took advantage, you let them off the mat, right? Every team that is trailing will have an opportunity to get off the mat. Obviously, with the wider the score, the less often those opportunities come up and the more difficult it's going to be. But the opportunity will arise in every game. Cuba had that opportunity. I believe it was with James Paxton on the mound in that seventh inning, and absolutely mowed them down. Come out of that inning, and Canada's able to score a couple more runs. They tack one on here, they tack one on there, and just stayed in control of the game. So good job by them to kind of weather the storm, understand that, yeah, Cuba's gonna get a couple punches in, right? They're not terrible. We're not facing Brazil here, so they're gonna get a couple punches, and they did a good job of rolling with them and finding a way to get out of those jams. And at the end of the day, you look at the final score in 7-2, pretty comfortable win.
I love to see it. I love it. I'm fired up. And something about a Roman hitting a home run against the Italians just makes me giggle. Um, that's a that's a history and geography joke. Um, Mexico, USA, and Italy are your three possible opponents for Canada. The or the, I don't know what I was quite going to say next, which would have helped in my decision making on whether I was going to use the or the. Um, the next game, Italy Mexico, has not started yet, but all eyes are on that one right now. Just from USA's hoping for a slugfest, or for Italy to win. Um, Mexico would like to win, but only by like three. Like, let's have like a nice, like, 3-0, 3-1. Let Jack Caglione hit a home run. You know, let the Sasquatch do his thing. Maybe 3-2, but like, let's chill here. That could be the
Yeah. So
that
for
could be the
anyone,
funniest thing ever,
and
because then that means that the USA doesn't make it, and that means that
yeah,
it finishes Italy 1, Mexico 2, USA goes home, which would be,
yeah,
well, not really home. They just go back to where they were, because they will be at home, because we are now shifting everything to Houston and Miami for the quarterfinals. That's exciting.
yeah. So so obviously, if Mexico wins by if Mexico wins and scores 4 runs or less, the United States is out. If Mexico wins and scores 5 runs or more, U.S. and Mexico get in. If Italy wins the game in any capacity, Italy and the U.S. will get in. So those are your scenarios. If Italy wins, Canada has to play the U.S. in the next round, no matter what, because Italy will be 4-0, U.S. will finish second. If Mexico wins and they win by a certain amount and the U.S. gets in, the U.S. I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the U.S. will finish first in that scenario, which means Canada will play Mexico. If Mexico wins by 4 or wins and scores 4 or less, then I believe it would be Italy 1, Mexico 2. So those are kind of your three scenarios that you're looking at in this game. So yeah, Canada could play any one of those three games. Uh, if you ask me, who's their best matchup? I would say probably Italy, but Italy kind of has the vibes right now, and
Mexico.
we predicted it.
Mexico.
We predicted that Italy was going to be good.
Mexico.
Um,
Mexico.
Mexico's offense scares me a little bit, man. Like they can hit. Uh, I
Any
will say
team can
I
hit
don't
a
like.
baseball. That's why they're there.
All right, I watched Brazil play too. That's not true. Um, I watched Czechia play. That's not true. Um,
Okay, now they're catching strays. Dude's just trying to be an electrician, bro, and you're just shitting on him. That's crazy.
no, he's a pitcher.
He plays
He
on the
doesn't hit.
team, though. You're shitting on his team.
I'm shitting on the hitters.
Well,
They can't hit.
well,
Anyway, yeah, it should be. Yeah, all eyes are obviously going to be on that game tonight.
a lot of fun.
I heard Canada. So Canada's supposed to play on Saturday. If the United States ends up playing Canada, that game might get moved to Friday. So Canada might have to play Friday in that moment. If they play Mexico or Italy, I'm pretty sure it's locked in 3 o'clock on Saturday. So should be. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're not going to preview the game because we don't know who's going to play yet, but we're. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Canada gets to play a knockout game.
Let's go. I'm excited. I can't. What?
Also, pause for
What?
a second. I I am so sick of the Americans. I really am. I hope they get eliminated tonight so badly. I'm so tired of them because these guys, their manager, Mark
I was gonna
DeRosa.
say, don't Mark DeRosa yourself by dropping all of your, facts and trying to get people to figure out how the matchups are going to work out. But you got it all right. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
didn't
here's the thing,
misspeak.
though.
You didn't say anything wrong. Unlike that bum ass.
Well, here's the thing. Bum ass is crazy. So I also am not the coach of one of the teams that's playing. The coach has to know what the scenario is, and he was managing that game. I was listening to Chris Rose. I forget the name of the podcast, but it's Chris Rose and Trevor Plouffe, and they were talking about how like he was managing that game like he knew they like he thought they were in, and just like the way that it was, right? Like not pinch running for Paul Goldschmidt, having Clayton Kershaw warming up, using Ryan Yarborough. Like he didn't know that they could miss the knockout stage. He didn't know that they hadn't clinched yet. He was talking pregame about how it was, like guys are a little banged up this morning. Like we were here late, yada yada yada. Like they did not think that this game was going to matter, and it might cost them their tournament. And now all I'm hearing from Mad Dog Russo on First Take and from multiple people in America saying, "Oh, the format is stupid. Oh, the tiebreaker's dumb. It's too hard to keep up with." Yada yada yada. Quit your bitching and complaining. I'm so sick of it. You knew what the rules were before the tournament started, or if you didn't, Mark DeRosa, that is an unforgivable offense. You don't get to cry foul when you didn't know what the rules are because they were too confusing. Guess what? Get somebody to explain them to you then. Like,
Listen,
I don't know. I had a buddy. I had a buddy today. I had a buddy today compare it to saying like, oh, but like, wait, you can't do that because you complained about 3-on-3 overtime in the Olympics when Canada lost. So if you're going to complain about that, then the U.S. gets to complain about this. You can't be hypocritical. And I said, pause. Very different world. Okay. And here's why. I did not say that Canada lost that game because of 3-on-3 overtime or that like Canada was at a disadvantage because of 3-on-3 overtime. I said from the beginning of the tournament that if we get into overtime of a gold medal game or a semifinal and it's decided in 3-on-3, that is bullshit because it's not real hockey. And so I kept that stance. And going into overtime, I said it's a real shame that this game is going to be decided in 3-on-3, even though everyone would have taken Canada's roster over the U.S. in 3-on-3. So it's not even an excuse. But that is very different from saying, oh, I didn't know the rules. We're going to miss the playoffs because I didn't know the rules. and it's the rules' fault for existing because I didn't know them and I have no culpability. That is where I draw the line. I go, you can't do that.
You can't.
You sound like a piss
You
baby. Don't
Well,
do
it
it.
is piss baby energy, and you cannot be mad when a country is complaining that they can't understand something so simple. Maybe if you didn't have a professional wrestler's wife as your Department of Education, you wouldn't have this issue. Oops, maybe I said the loud part out loud because everybody's been saying it. I can't. The point
Buddy,
is,
I lived in
I,
America. I lived in America. I can tell you
there's
that
smart people there. I'm not saying that. I'm just meaning like I just think it's hilarious. Oh, we didn't
no, no, no.
know, or oh, if your team didn't tell you, if you didn't have people around you to tell you that either, that's on you, bro. You employed a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of idiots to come with you, or a bunch of yes men to come with you to ride this thing out, thinking you were going to rah rah your way to another WBC championship final. Guess what? There's a chance you don't even sniff it.
You know what though? I think his buddies at MLB Network are kind of getting let off the hook here a little bit because they just let him say what he said and didn't think to correct him. They kind of sewered him a little bit. Like, I don't know. Like, if you said something like that to me, and I knew, like, if you were coming into the Cuba game and you were like, oh, this game doesn't matter because Canada's already in, I would stop you and go, hold on. I don't think, like, I will double check, but I don't think that's true.
If
Like,
they were
let's
on
talk
a
about it,
time
right?
crunch, if they were on a time crunch because of an interview and they were like, "Oop, we actually can't correct this guy right now because one, we don't want to embarrass him on the air in case he actually didn't know that,
Fair.
and then two, we don't have time because we only planned 3 questions, not knowing that he wasn't going to know the answer, but also it's your due diligence. It's your job. You have to be like,
It's
you
literally your
kind of have
job.
to be like, you know what, Mark? That actually might not be right, but I'll let you ride with that today because whatever works. And you could just move on with that
Yeah,
and text back and forth and be like, LOL, dummy, better change your lineup card tonight because it matters. Anyway, we could go
100%.
on and on.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, no, it was not great. They like, and the other thing I can't get past too is like complaining about the rules and yada 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 is these. First of all, Mark DeRosa has been in the manager for multiple tournaments. He was the manager last tournament as well, and the tiebreaker rules are the same as they were last tournament. So you can't say that they changed it on the fly. That's number one. Number two, like when you were a kid, you played in tournaments, right? I played in a lot of tournaments. Every tournament ever, there are tiebreaker rules. And every tournament, those tiebreaker rules might look a little bit different depending on the tournament. What is your job as a coach or as like like yeah, as basically as a coach is know what the tiebreaker rule is. Know what you need to do. If I'm playing in a hockey tournament and I know that goals for is the tiebreaker, for example, and I need 4 goals. It doesn't matter if we we have to win, but we also have to score 4. You need to know that, right? Because if you don't, you're doing your team a disservice. The fact that he didn't know that the tiebreaker is what mattered and that there was a world where the U.S. hadn't clinched yet is malpractice. And honestly, it speaks to a bigger issue of the Americans not taking this tournament seriously. And it's why I think I really hope they miss because I don't think they deserve to make it. They have all the talent in the world, but you've got Mark DeRosa not knowing the rules and then bitching about the rules. You have, well, actually, to his credit, he didn't actually bitch about the rules. He said it was on him. But you have other people in America bitching about the rules, right? Like I said, Mad Dog Russo. Um, you have Bryce Harper coming out and saying, "Oh, the WBC is cool, but it's not the Olympics." Meanwhile, and then you got Tariq Skubal saying, "Oh, I thought it was going to be like an all-star game. I didn't realize it was going to be intense." Man, have you never watch one inning of one Dominican Republic game from any of the 6 tournaments and tell me you think it's an all-star game? Like these America is the one country that doesn't really care about this tournament very clearly. Everyone else cares. Like we talked about earlier, Cuba lost this game in part because they cared too much, right? Puerto Rico, you got guys coming off the field crying because it means so much to them. DR, every home run is a goddamn block party. Like Japan, obviously, we know how much this means in Japan. Like the U.S. needs to get their act together and invest in caring about this tournament the way other teams in the world care about this tournament. And until they do that, I hope they experience no success. And I think it would be really embarrassing for USA Baseball if they miss the knockout stage because they just didn't take this tournament seriously enough. So that's my little rant on the US. There's my Redbird rant.
Let's go. I knew there was one in you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. It's been
Um,
yeah, it's about time.
it's time to get out of here. Honestly, we're fired up and we're also a little tired because these few games have been a grind for us, but not as much of a grind for these players. So I will give them the credit they deserve. Outstanding work today from Team Canada. 7-2 win over Cuba to not only advance for the first time in WBC history to the quarterfinals, but to do so first in their pool. Unreal stuff. Right now, Italy, Mexico, at the time of this recording, bottom of one, 0-0, and fighting for top of their pool is the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. I have nothing to say about that game other than best of luck to both teams. Maybe see you later in the tournament. I don't.
Huge game though. Huge game.
Huge.
Loser has to play Japan. Loser has to play Japan, and neither team wants to play Japan in the next round because you might have to see Yamamoto, and I'm not sure that you want to see Yamamoto in the next
Both
round.
both
So
teams should just not swing the bat at all and just see how many innings we can go before they finally call it. So both teams have to play Japan.
So worst idea I've ever heard.
Just
Anyway,
put
it's
both.
time to go.
Yeah,
Now that
okay, whatever.
it's time to go. It's
It
time to
could
go.
be it
Made
could be
no
something
sense.
for next year. Anyway, folks, I am the Stuntman. That is the Lazarbeam. We will see you sometime after Canada's quarterfinal game against either Mexico, Italy, or USA.
USA.
Until then, ciao for now.